This is Creating Your Encore Career and Becoming a Silver Entrepreneur with your host, Lynn Freest. Lynn will share ideas and expert advice from people that are walking in your shoes and living their encore careers, where they want and at the pace they want. You'll start a company of one with confidence and knowledge to live a fulfilled life of freedom and ease. Lynn is a coach and leadership consultant whose mission is to show senior leaders and experts how to start something refreshing and new after a full career in the corporate environment.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Making Transitions and Creating Your Encore Life. This is where you can learn to do what you love, when you want, and where you want. You can create and live your dream. So if you're ready to get started today, please contact me at lynn@lynnfreest.com. Thanks for listening. This is episode 219, and I'm introducing my new resource on navigating transitions. I've been on my Encore career journey for over 8 years now, and this is after a 40-year career in manufacturing at John Deere. I've been in love with and married to my wife of almost 39 years, and we have 3 wonderful grown children, 2 of whom are married, with 1 tremendous grandchild. I love to read, travel, and spend time with our extended family. My passion is for reading and learning. Well, and my children even tease me about the hundreds of business books I've read over the years, especially after I retired. Well, I quickly found that there are plenty of resources out there about happiness, purpose, business, but there weren't that many resources on helping people navigate the big transitions that we go through in midlife and after. Life is full of twists and turns, unexpected changes, but what if you could navigate these transitions with more confidence and ease? That's why I'm introducing my free guide, How to Navigate Life's Transitions. In this guide, we'll dive deep into some practical tools, some inspiring stories, and some reflective questions to empower you and help you get through any change. Whether you're facing a career shift, personal challenges, or new beginnings, this is my roadmap to help you get started. Don't let change paralyze you. Download the guide now and turn life's uncertainties into stepping stones towards a brighter future. Life's transitions can be daunting, but they don't have to be. Whether it's a career change or a personal loss, or even, as I said before, new beginnings, transitions offer a unique opportunity for growth. It's filled with practical questions to help you gain some clarity. And this guide will empower you to turn these uncertainties in life, these transitions, into pathways for personal growth. So again, don't let fear hold you back. Embrace the journey and thrive in every season. Every transition in life, be it big or small, brings with it a mix of emotions. That's a big piece about managing transitions is our emotions, whether it be anxiety or fear or excitement or anticipation. We always have to pay attention to emotions. And that's one of the things we'll work with in the guide, and if you would choose to work with me in the future. So it's got some insights, some practical questions, and just all of these things are here to help you, empower you, and again, turn the anxiety over transitions into opportunities for growth. Another idea is you want to move from resistance in transitions to resilience, from fear to flourishing. Don't let these things either paralyze you or set you back or keep you stuck. These are the things that can help you take those steps forward, sometimes as small as they may feel. I'd really like to, even before you get started, I'd like to imagine a year from now where you're not just surviving whatever transitions have happened currently or in the future, but you're also thriving. And imagine being the person who's sought after at work, cherished at home, and admired by friends because you are the one that keeps a balance and that's being centered in the face of all these things that life may throw at us. So this is a guide, a step towards the future. Now, I'd like to mention just a few of the transitions that can come up. The first one is career uncertainty. You've probably spent decades in a stable job. You might be facing layoffs, forced early retirement, or even an interest in shifting careers. Again, as we all know, the job market kind of favors young people, but in today's world, we have a role to play there too. Another concern might be health concerns. As we age, health issues start to creep in. And it's really not just the physical aspects, but the financial implications of healthcare, especially if you're now moved into a retirement situation. Aging parents. My mother is 97 years old, and I'm assisting my brother and caring for her so she can stay comfortably at home. But our parents do become more dependent, and we're trying to help them navigate this stage of their life as best we can. But it's a challenge for us. Then there's always going to be the issues around relationship strains. While they've stood this test of time, it's interesting that as you, quote, enter your next chapter of life or retirement or however you want to phrase it, your relationships are different. The people you saw every day at the office, not there, or at least not in the same way anyway. It's one of those things where, and even your relationship with your spouse. Certainly when I was home all of a sudden now, all the time working from home, it was very different than when I was off to the office every day. All of a sudden, my wife and I were in much closer contact much more often. And that's a good thing. But obviously, sometimes that is still a transition. And then there's the whole financial transition. While many of you probably have made wonderful plans for your financing in retirement, people who are maybe looking forward to that, who might be in their 50s or 60s, but you have to start planning for the fact that you could have 30 to 40 years after, quote, the year 60 to plan for retirement. So it could be that is it possible to save enough money in the first 40 years to pay for the next 40 years? It could be, but it's probably a challenge. So you may have to be planning, hey, what am I going to do? Even if it's only working part-time. And how do I occupy my time? Quite frankly, you don't want to just be on necessarily a 40-year vacation or a 30-year vacation, but you don't want to work 50, 60 hours a week either. So these are the kinds of things that you have to sort out, even if your finances are pretty much in control. And there's a piece around identity. So many of us devoted so much of our time and energy and everything we had into our job that all of a sudden is gone. I was the senior vice president of marketing. I was the manager of product development. Any number of things. All of a sudden, now who am I? Am I just, quote, a retiree? Or am I somebody who is still participating? Or maybe I'm now in a volunteer role, so I'm helping people put their lives together or help them thrive. So any of these things, but this is another transition. Your identity makes a transition as you change from full-time corporate work. And then there's the loss of community. I mentioned that earlier, the relationships, whatever your community was, or your set of friends, your network, your colleagues, whatever it may be, it's different now. And in some cases, you have to find a new set of colleagues. I know I did. The people that I spent time at work, I was still connected with a few of them, but they weren't on the same path I was anymore. We weren't in the same company. We weren't, just like you say, in the same community. I had to find a new community. And I've done that. I've joined several other groups of people. They're not all my age. They're not even thinking about retirement, but they're probably generally an entrepreneurial type setting. So again, this idea of maybe find your new community, another transition. Then there's an interesting piece about tech overwhelm. It's easy for us to say, oh, I can't do this tech. But you know what? My mother learned to at least basically use an iPad in her 90s. I've been learning how to use some of the AI tools, and I found them fascinating. So it's one of those things where tech overwhelm is really, I think, more of a mindset than an actual permanent problem for you. It's just, are you willing to go out and learn something new? Are you willing to be mentored by someone who is possibly much younger than you are, who is very familiar with the tech? So those are the things where we shouldn't let that stop us, but we have to recognize we do have to upskill as we move forward into this next chapter in life. We probably need to build some new skills. We have to be willing to learn. We have to be willing to be bad at something. We may have especially later in our career, we may have been the expert, the person who never made a mistake, etc. Now you have to go out and actually pursue mistakes so that you can learn some new skills. And some of this, what I'll say in the guide too, is really, I think it's best to learn through a series of questions you ask yourself. So I've designed some of these questions to help you, what is it you want in life is one of the questions. And some of these things are, again, you will have your own answer. I propose a few things to at least to consider. You have to connect your own dots, as it were. But you might like to have stability through change. Once you actually look out there and say, yeah, the things are going to change going forward, and I can't control it. I can't make it be better or anything like that. But I'll say stay centered during that time. You may wish to see something like a family legacy. How can I help my family be the best that they can be? What is it that I can give them to, again, share with the younger generations what I've learned and what will help them thrive as they grow? There's a piece around self-actualization. I know an author has said the first half of our life is about achievement and trying to do things better or hitting goals, those kinds of things. Now it may be we're more around being whole, understanding ourselves, understanding others more deeply. So it's more about being significant and not just having achievements. It could also be we want to, again, as I said, find new community. You want to, again, make contributions, help the greater good. So all of those things are things you can aspire to as you enter this next stage of life. And then there's always health and longevity. There are things that we can do to really impact our health moving forward. Obviously, the physical aspects and paying attention to that. But another study was done by Becca Levy from Harvard said that if you have a positive attitude towards growing older or facing that, you can add 7.5 years to your life by having a positive attitude rather than a limited attitude, saying I'm just on a general decline. You actually will think yourself into one of those states or the other. And then finally, another possibility is lifelong learning. Our age doesn't define our thirst for knowledge. Certainly, I am just as anxious about learning new things as we go forward, and I'm fascinated by what might happen in the next 10 years if I'm fortunate enough to go through all of that. And then you think it might be another 20 years. Wonderful. I had a great aunt who passed away some time ago, but she grew up in rural Nebraska. She grew up to see the first cars, the first motorized farm equipment. She grew up to see the first airplanes. And I remember when she was in her 90s and took a trip with my mother, they went through a car wash, and she was just thrilled to imagine what it was like to actually have a automatic car wash. Some of these things we can't anticipate, but we can still have a spark of interest and enjoyment for them. Well, with the Encore life, you can be creating a world beyond just winning that next pickleball game. You can do the work you love, you can do it when you want, and you can do it where you want. You can create and live your dream. And if you're ready to get started today, please contact me at lynn@lynnfrias.com. And also, please download this new template that I've provided for you. And please use it to your advantage and let me know what you think. Happy to talk with you about it and look forward to going forward in all of our collective transitions. Thanks.